anybody been to any of the other double bills so far? A violent reaction to that. Now, there's only 3 more after this. On Wednesday night is Wild at Heart and True Romance is a double bill. It's going to be amazing. And on Friday night, a double bill of The Wanderers and The Warriors. Philip Chapman's The Wanderers, and The Warriors. And then the final one on Sunday night is 2 highly underrated crime films. Michael Cimino's Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, and George Armitage's Miami Blues. Combined picture young Clint Eastwood, young Jeff Bridges, and young Alec Baldwin. So you really owe it to yourself to come and see these if you haven't seen them. Now, tonight, the first of this vehicular double bill. Who here, just to get a show, who here has never seen The Driver before?
That's
okay. 50-50, as I predicted, as every night. Now, this movie is a movie I saw on TV when I was young, and it's stuck with me ever since. It's a hardboiled gem, and I find it kind of hypnotic in its simplicity. And so much of that comes from writer-director Walter Hill, whose second film this is. Walter Hill's style of writing and directing have similar aims. There's a brutal directness, a very clear sense of craft, and a terse, stark dynamic to the action and dialogue. And one of the reasons I think this and his other films continue to hold up is that because great storytelling never goes out of style. Indeed, there you go. Walter Hill's screenplay for this film and The Warriors are rightly famed for being poetic in their stripped-down haiku nature. I have never seen this on the big screen, and like as ever, this is more for me than it is for you. But I'm drawn to watch The Driver like every 2 years, so I'm excited to bring 3 of the makers of The Driver to help me intro. Reading out their combined credits in full is going to push Steven Spielberg's Duel until past midnight, so I'm going to do selected credits. But first, the associate producer of this movie previously worked on Targets, the Last Picture Stone paper movie with Peter Bogdanovich, before going on to work as a line producer on The Last Waltz. Not the kind of lines you're thinking with that film. Executive producer on The Warriors, and then producing, among others, and this is among others, Raiders of the Lost Ark, New Beverly favourite Poltergeist, Gremlins and Goonies, Back to the Future, Inner Space, Empire of the Sun, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, directed a personal favourite of mine and yours, Arachnophobia. Another New Beverly favourite, which I must show at some point in the future. I think that has to be a midnight movie. More recently produced The Sixth Sense, the Bourne trilogy, and Steven Spielberg's upcoming War Horse, among many, many others. Frank Marshall. This next man, this Academy Award-nominated actor, playing the detective after Ryan O'Neill's Driver, has worked with, I'm not going to give his full credits, I'm just going to give you the directors that some of the directors that he has worked with. Roger Corman, Richard Russ, Sidney Pollack, Clint Eastwood, Jack Nicholson, Douglas Trumbull, Bob Rafelson, Sam Peckinpah, John Frankenheimer, Hal Ashby, Michael Ritchie, Joe Dante, Alfred Hitchcock in his final movie, and of course Walter Hill. Bruce Dern is in there. This next man started working the business as a second assistant director on The Thomas Crown Affair, Bullet, and I only discovered this today, one of my favourite Woody Allen films, Take the Money and Run. Amazing. He then went on to write Hickey and Boggs and Sam Peckinpah's The Getaway, before making his directorial debut with Hard Times. We saw Hard Times in the New Beverly earlier this month. There you go. Very followed by The Driver, then after that the cult behemoth that is The Warriors, The Long Riders, Southern Comfort, 48 Hours, another New Beverly favourite, Streets of Fire, Extreme Prejudice, Red Heat, Johnny Handsome, Geronimo, Wild Bill, Last Man Standing, as well as HBO's award-winning Tales from the Crypt and Deadwood, and the Emmy-winning Broken Trail. What an amazing list of credits. I didn't even mention producing Alien and Aliens and writing the story as well. Walter Hill. Because 50% of the audience have not seen it, we'll try not to give any spoilers and stuff. So I just got a couple of questions for you all to give it a bit of context. Now, Walter, this film I've noticed, and maybe more in recent years, I'm not sure if this is the case in the 70s, has been called like part of a neo-noir movement, and as much as it was kind of like, and all of your work, but particularly this is like brilliantly spare in 1978, how much does it look back to like a golden age of crime films, and how much of that influenced you writing your early films?
Well, I don't know if I'm smart enough to answer that. Well, first, let me say, you do a film, what, 30-some years ago, and this is the largest crowd in the United States that's ever seen the movie. It did not do well. It did achieve a foreign reputation, which is, I think, what kept it alive, and then and made possible nights like this. I will tell you one brief story, just mainly because I've never said it to because it's a large crowd. I can't believe it for this movie. I tried to, it was the producer, Larry Gordon, said, we ought to do a movie about a wheelman. I said, yeah, let's do that. And he said, I'll get you a deal. We got a deal. And then I thought I had to write it. And I thought, you got to do something a little different. And when people do things that are different, they usually try to mess with the characters in some advanced and you make them transsexuals or something. Because you need, I think that's fine. But I thought maybe you could take it the other way and try to strip it down and make it more abstract. So I wondered if I could get away with the conceit of that. I think that the question is still in doubt, but it does have its fans, and it certainly did not have very many fans in this country when it came out, nor the critics, but the foreign critics were very kind. But and this is what I was going to tell you. Frank and I were shooting The Warriors when the movie came out. And it's a little depressing to have a movie come out where you get bad reviews and no business. And you're trying to go out and, shoot. You've got a lot of work to do. And, I got a letter at the hotel about a week after we opened with The Warriors. It was from Christopher Isherwood and Don McCarty. I think Don is a very good, I didn't really know them. I had shaken hands with them once or twice. I think Don's a very great artist, and Isherwood was one of my favorite writers in the last century. I thought he was quite wonderful. And this letter came out of nowhere, and it said, pay no attention to the reviews. The movie's marvelous. Keep going. Do your work. Life is hard, but keep going. It was put more elegant. And I wouldn't trade the letter for the good reviews. So I just wanted to say that. It gave me my first chance to work with Bruce, who I think is a very special actor. And I will